It's Saturday afternoon. You know what that means. Pokemon time, Nuzlocke time. Oh, right, there's a battle against N. I forgot that there was the battle where N uses his desert encounters, but that's fine, because N isn't a hard battle. Like, this is just weak Pokemon that I've all fought before. Looking at it, I need to fight the gym leader too. I'm ignoring the story, even though I remember it being okay. Oh, right, he takes me on a date on the Ferris wheel, and I don't care. I want to go beat up a model. I want to beat the electric gym leader and get the electric badge so I can go meet the cowboy. And you may think it's weird that there's a cowboy in this dense urban center, like this takes place in New York, but it isn't. There's real people like that in fucking every city on the planet. Like, there are people who act like they're from Texas all over the country. What's with the text box? I don't know. So you'll notice I got a petal. I got that like grass type in my team. I added it, and the text boxes aren't working, so I'm just zoning out what that N is saying. That's fun. How was my week? My week was fine. I'm hard at work on the upcoming videos. Encoding overload? Like, really? Like, the Ferris wheel fucks it up? The Ferris wheel is what causes the. God, my laptop's a piece of shit. Like, and this isn't a surprise for me. Like, when I was in college, there was this game that I worked on called Speedwave, which was a racing game, and I didn't optimize that game at all because I was very bad at making video games. So anyway, I could not run that game on my crappy laptop to test anything, which was a problem. It's amazing that that game functions as well as it does because I could run the Unity editor, I just couldn't run the Unity editor and that game. Anyway, Lord N, his minions are showing up, and I'm just gonna mash through this. What did I say no to? Was it no to a battle? Because he's attacking me anyway. I'm gonna go beat up N. Okay. So, hard to work. I got Batman Forever edited. Last night I cut together. Like, I say cut. Like, how I make videos is I do a couple passes of them. The first pass for these film videos is I go and I cut all the footage together and do that part, which is easy. And then what actually takes more time is having the, like, top left corner pop up over my shoulder, clips from the movie explaining what I'm doing, or screenshots of articles that I'm quoting from, things like that. That is actually the bulk of the time. But I got Batman Forever cut, or got Batman Forever edited, got And Robin cut. Going to have that done and up. This year's 2-hour Christmas special should be done by the 21st, which is its due date, which is good. I'm also doing, not as seriously, but a little bit of work each day on the 14th part of my Empire of Steel D&D story, which that's going to come out, and you use Swagger, which is a fucking annoying move. I hate Swagger so much. At least I'm bulky enough. And then this Batman video will be my last video I release this year. It's going to be early January. It ended up working out where I'm going to finish up Empire of Steel, and then the next D&D. I should have switched out. Why didn't I switch out? This is a psychic type. It's a psychic flying type. That's like double bad for me. I'm being dumb. And you can notice I did a little bit of grinding for the Sandile off screen, so that'll be evolved, and I can use it against Lessa. But also, so what's going on in the news is it's Luigi Mangone. I'm not sure how that Italian name is pronounced, but the guy who shot Brian Thompson, the CEO killer. And a lot of analysis of that, a lot of hot takes on his arrest and all that. And, I mean, you know, innocent until proven guilty. But I feel like people have a weird idea of what innocent until proven guilty means, because that is how it applies in a court of law. I have people saying, you can't think this guy is guilty until he has been convicted by the United States judiciary. Hold on, I gotta pause. I'm getting a phone call. Hold on. How do I pause this? So, I'm back. Like, in my hometown right now, there's just freezing rain. And it is so cold, and it's fucking freezing rain everywhere. And parts of town have, like, the power out, including the grocery store. Or maybe it's just the internet that's out. I had to run up a flight of steps, which is why I'm out. I'll explain in a sec. And anyway, because of that, the card's down. And my father, like, I live just down the street from the grocery store. My father went to the grocery store. And, I can't pay for this because I pay with my card. I don't have the cash for this. My son lives down the street. I'm going to go grab a check from him. And I had to deal with that. And, like, run down my apartment steps, which are all iced over, just slipping and sliding, barely getting down. And then ran back up here for this. I stopped the recording instead of pausing it, which means I'm going to have to edit these two halves together, which is fine. I don't really edit these D&D story, or these Nuzlocke vlogs. D&D stories, a different thing I do. I just kind of upload them as is. Okay. But yeah, it was, like, I had to go, like, take photos of, like, hey, get out of my face, fucker. Fuck you, N. I don't care. Go away. Had to, like, cover, like, a library, like, Santa breakfast thing. Take some photos just, because, you know, human interest, people like that. For the paper I work for this morning, and the roads weren't bad. It was just walking across the parking lot to my car I slipped, like, 5 times. And, like, they were giving out donuts at that Santa breakfast, and I got myself a nice big donut, and I drive back to my apartment. I didn't eat it there. I drive back to my apartment, and I'm carrying that donut, and I slip, and I just chuck it, and it lands in this pile of mud, and I just look down on it, defeated. Oh, my poor, poor donut. Taken away from me so early. I was going to go to, like, a soup supper and take a photo tonight, but honestly, I might skip it just because if the weather continues to be like this. Oh, but what was I saying? What was I saying before I had to go deal with that? Luigi the Eater Man. His name is, like, Italian for glutton, which is, like, nice. And just all the jokes about the Super Mario Brothers. Luigi continues to be better than Mario, I guess. But no, people, like, I don't think people get how, like, innocent until proven guilty means, because that is a standard that is used by courts. It's the standard that the United States government does. It's a good standard. It's very good that you have, at least in theory, in reality, you often don't have a right to a fair trial. But the idea of Americans having a right to a fair trial is a good one that I support. But also people are like, hold on, you can't think this guy is guilty based on the evidence that you've seen so far, because we are innocent until proven guilty. That's how the courts work. And honestly, the courts should not determine your opinion on if someone is guilty of a crime. There are plenty of innocent people who have been found guilty by a jury of their peers over the years. It happens a lot, and there are also guilty people who get away with it, who the jury lets go for whatever reason. Like, juries aren't infallible. It's the system that the law uses. It's not the system that you should make your own opinion based on. If you don't think there's sufficient evidence for this guy to be guilty, then don't think he's guilty. If you think there is enough evidence for him to be guilty, then think he's guilty. The point is, like, whether or not you think a guy is guilty is your own personal opinion. It's not based on what the United States court system thinks, you know? Whatever. This is a fun gym with, like, the roller coasters and all the fucking emolgas. Like, this is a problem Unova has. There weren't a lot of electric types. Like, all of the Pokemon, I looked at, like, Nimbasa Gym before I started recording. All of the Pokemon in this gym are, like, The zebras, I gotta go turn that heater off. I hear the click, which means it's gonna start up and be loud. 1 sec. Fuck you. I'm going to stay in the cold. For now, at least. I'll turn the heater on. It's just kind of loud. And don't want that background noise when I'm recording. But like whether or not you think someone's guilty is your own opinion. Whether or not you think also what is your own opinion is whether or not you should think he should go to jail, because those are very different things. Like there was this story like a couple days ago where lady gets her medical coverage denied. Like she pays this insurance company money so they will give her medical coverage, and they say, go fuck yourself, I hope you die. And her response is, I hope you're next. And she gets arrested, charged with threatening to commit terrorism, facing 15 years in jail. She's guilty. She did what they said. She shouldn't fucking go to jail because she did nothing wrong. It should absolutely be legal to threaten the people who threatened to murder you. Like, denying someone medical coverage is a form of violence. It is an attack on them. And very often, it is an attack that results in them dying. So, like, saying, fuck you, I hope... Like, there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing morally wrong with threatening someone who threatens to hurt you. You know, like, that lady did nothing wrong. And, you know... I feel like we're going to get mass crackdowns. This is a sign of that. On people who make insults and threats against insurance companies. We're not going to get... Like, here's my fucking thing. This is... Police do not give a shit about murder. Cops fucking love murder. The main goal of the police, honestly, is to ensure as many people are murdered as possible. Cops fucking love it when the right people are murdered by people who they have deemed to be allowed to murder. Like, the same day Luigi Mangone gets arrested, or maybe it was the day before, I don't fucking remember. Like, a guy in New York who just murdered a man for being homeless gets away with it because the official belief of jury of his peers is that homeless people are not human beings. It is completely legal to kill them, especially if they're black. And, you know, like... This fucking Brian Thompson guy, he killed so many people. He killed thousands. 68,000 people a year die in the United States from lack of medical coverage. We pay the most for medicine, and we have just terrible, terrible coverage when compared to other similar, I don't have any ground moves. Like, but that's not the type of murder you get arrested for. That's the type of murder that the government has decided is completely legal, is completely moral. Like, the cops don't give a shit about stopping murders. The cops care about the wrong people killing. And you and I count as the wrong people. We're not allowed to kill. If we were billionaires, we could fucking get a gun, walk down the street, do the equivalent of walking down into a preschool and just shooting everyone there in the head, and the cops would not give a shit. But if, you know, you fucking shoot one of those, then suddenly human life has value. Then suddenly killing is illegal. But not when it's an insurance company doing it. Not when it's so abstracted. Like, it's illegal to shoot someone. It isn't illegal. You know, it's illegal to shoot someone. It's illegal to pay someone to shoot someone. It's illegal to pay someone to pay someone to shoot someone. But there is a level of abstraction where you pay someone to pay someone to pay someone to decide what someone else who gets what standards they use to determine who gets murdered. And that is completely illegal. Yes, it's choosing who lives and dies. Yes, you are deciding, I want this person to die, but it's okay because you don't know their names. Because you're not the one pulling the trigger, so it's fine. They're still fucking dead. You still killed those people, but as far as the government as far as the government is concerned, it isn't murder. You know? And the other thing that's on, like, I genuinely think, like, if you work in, like, the health insurance field and you're worried about, like, people, like, Luigi Mangione, like, hurting you, then fucking quit and get a job where you don't murder people. Like, just fucking quit if you're scared for your life. Just get a job where you don't kill people. It's not that hard. Like, get a different fucking job. That's how you don't get murdered. Okay? If you're fearful for your life because you stole medicine from the sickly and they got mad at you, then stop fucking stealing medicine from the sickly, you evil piece of shit. You know? I'm rambling. But the other thing that's been on my mind is I've been seeing the sort of left-wing reaction to this is immediately the moment he was arrested, calling it a frame job, saying without real evidence that all of this was planted, that he is a fall guy chosen by the NYPD. And the argument for this is the NYPD can't be trusted, which I agree with. I've made essays about why the NYPD is the fucking worst in the past. I agree that the NYPD lies constantly, but that does not QED mean that everything the NYPD ever says is untrue. You know? Like, if he was framed, there needs to be evidence that he was framed. And, like, it is just fucking QAnon level grasping of straws that I'm seeing, and it's really pissing me off. Like, why is he wearing a different coat in this photo than in this other one that was taken hours later? This is proof of a frame job. No, he owns multiple coats, and he changed outfits. That's a thing that happens. People can wear different outfits in photos that are taken at different points in time. Where are you on about? Well, I can't see his eyebrows in this photo where he's completely covered his head by a hood. Yeah, because there's a fucking hood in the way. He was charged with second-degree murder. That is the police admitting that he is innocent and they don't actually have any evidence. That's not... New York has different second-degree murder standards than the rest of the country. In New York, first-degree murder means you committed murder as part of another crime. It's like if you kill a witness, or you kill a cop, or you kill someone during robbery. That's what first-degree murder means in New York. It's not the same as, say, first-degree means in Chicago, where first-degree means premeditated, and second-degree murder means crime of passion in the moment. Like, you know... And when I see, second-degree murder, that's weird. You know what I did? I fucking looked up New York second-degree murder. Oh, they have different standards for first and second-degree murder than the rest of the country. This isn't evidence of a deep state conspiracy. It's just fucking the law being written different in different places, which is to be expected. The law does differ constantly between cities. And like, the thing about it that kind of gets me is I don't like conspiracy theories. I don't like this conspiratorial thinking, this belief that there is this secret shadowy cabal that's hyper-competent and pulling all the strings. And like, the main argument I've seen for this being a frame job is, well, he was too smart to get arrested. Says who? Says fucking who? Like, I'm sorry. Like, he was too smart to be arrested, and the evidence for that is that he wasn't arrested for a while, but he was arrested. What? You don't fucking know this person. All you know is that he shot a guy, and that he wrote a manifesto, which you're also calling fake. Like, all you fucking know is that he shot a dude. That does not mean he's too smart for the cops to kill. And, like, the reason he got away for so long, A, part of it is cops are incompetent. B, it's because he left the city and it took time to track him down. It's like, you can't simultaneously believe he got away because the cops are incompetent, and also they couldn't have caught him because he's too smart. Like, either he's too smart to get caught and then he didn't get caught, or like, I'm rambling, but you know, like, and the thing is, I don't think that the gun or manifesto were planted. I think he genuinely had a gun and a manifesto on him. And this is the weird thing, because I think that the NYPD planted evidence. Like, he's saying, I didn't have those thousands of dollars on me, the NYPD planted that, they did not plant the gun or the manifesto. So, that leads me to believe, I don't think they planted the gun or the manifesto, because he's saying the money was planted. He's not saying the manifesto was planted. And if the manifesto was planted, I would, and I was him, I would say, hey, they planted this manifesto, it isn't real. Like, and that's the thing about, like, conspiracies. Like, the NYPD frames people, that is true. That is, I'm not even going to use Sandal, because it doesn't have the right moves, I've decided. The NYPD does frame people. They don't choose just random fucking people to frame. They choose people who they already think are guilty and have some evidence towards them, and then create more evidence whole cloth. They didn't just, like, they didn't plant you know, like, there are real conspiracies, but people don't understand how real conspiracies work. Like, they didn't just choose some random fucking tech bro with a master's degree and decide to make all of the evidence of him being the shooter. They found a guy who they already had evidence to suggest he was the shooter, and maybe they planted some more of it, but there was already evidence. Like, and the thing that bugs me about all these, like, not really good conspiratorial thinking, like, people not really thinking things through, is the reason, the number one reason people think there is a conspiracy and he was framed is because they don't want him to have been caught, because they think his actions were moral. And I agree, he did nothing wrong. I hope this boy gets jury nullification. But, you know, you wanting something to be true doesn't make it true. You, like, reality exists. If something is, things don't become true just because they're line with your politics and your beliefs about the world. The truth matters, and I am very worried about just going into this big conspiratorial thinking with basically no evidence just because, well, I want it to be true. I want it to be true, thus it is. That is a very dangerous way to think about the world. It's what leads to fucking fascism. It's what leads to fucking Alex Jones and shit. It's what leads to anti-vaxxers. And, like, no, don't worry, we're left-wing, so we are immune to the problems with conspiratorial thinking. Bullshit. You are not smarter because your politics are correct. Like, it is fully possible for you to have the right beliefs about fucking universal healthcare and still be able to be drawn into conspiratorial thinking and still be able to be wrong about things and to believe things that are not true, you know? And I do worry about seeing these widespread conspiratorial pushes on the left. I think the left does have a conspiracy problem thing, and they'll be like, well, it's fine because there are actual conspiracies. Yes, but that doesn't mean that believing in any conspiracy without evidence is a good thing to do, you know? That you have to believe in the truth and try to seek it out. The truth matters. It matters so much, is one of my core beliefs, you know? And you're going to switch to Zeb Strika. Like, this is an annoying battle where the Emolgas constantly switch out, but it's fine because Herdier with Eviolite is bulky. But anyway, all this thinking about conspiracies has made me decide to make a video about leftists being preyed upon by conspiratorial thinking, and I'm going to call this video, actually, Epstein did kill himself. That's what I'm going to fucking call it. It's going on the June video voting, where, because I do a couple videos a year where the fans vote on what video I do next. I am seriously considering doing a video titled, Actually Epstein Did Kill Himself. And, like, that'll anger people, because, like, a lot of leftists just go into full QAnon. Like, yes, there's a shadowy there's a shadowy cabal of elites who control the world, and they are all secret pedophiles, and they manipulate everything and control the media. And, like, leftists will say that unironically, say the same exact things as the right, because, well, it's fine that we believe these things, because there are actual bad people out there. There are actual conspiracies, which means that any conspiracy is true, even ones that are fucking dumb. Like, the Epstein conspiracy Like, so much of it hinges on, wait, you mean to tell me that some guards in an American prison were lazy and did a bad job at guarding this man? Americans lazy? Inconceivable. It must have been an assassin, because the guards just half-assing their job and forgetting to take away his bed sheets. That's impossible. Like, them not checking in on him, they would have only done that if they were in on the conspiracy, not, because they were fucking lazy and didn't give a shit about their job. Like, there's so many problems with the Epstein thing. And I'm gonna get so much heat for that video, but I don't give a shit. I'm gonna make that fucking video. Actually, Epstein did kill himself. You are not immune to conspiratorial thinking, and you need to be worried about this. It is a fucking poison of the mind. Sandow doesn't have the bulk, but it has the type resistances. So I think... should I leave it in? I'm going to leave it in long enough to heal up my Herdier, because Herdier is the one who can take a hit. I can also switch to the ugly-ass clown fighting type. Okay, yeah, I do need to switch out, even with the typing. You deal too much damage, so I'm going to go to Rumor Control. Do not remember what this Pokemon's species name is, even slightly. It's between Timber and Conkeldurr, but I'm gonna beat you up. I don't think the FBI killed Martin Luther King. I think, that the stated story that a racist guy hated Martin Luther King and just shot him is completely reasonable to believe. There's a lot of racists in the US who don't like civil rights leaders. That's not far-fetched to me. Actually, I'm going to stand and switch up because I think you're going to use a potion now. The thing about it is, the main argument for why the FBI definitely killed King is because the Church Committee uncovered COINTELPRO and forced them to reveal documents saying that they tried to blackmail him into killing himself, and also that they assassinated Fred Hampton, who is the leader of the Black Panthers. So that's why it is very reasonable to believe that the FBI wanted to kill Martin Luther King, because we know they wanted to kill Martin Luther King, and they may have even been planning it. But also, if they released the evidence, the reason we know about this is because they were forced to reveal to the public that they had tried to kill him and that they had killed other civil rights leaders. If they could redact files and keep anyone from knowing that they wanted to kill Martin Luther King, then they wouldn't have revealed that they had already tried. In a world where they were forced to reveal that they tried to assassinate Martin Luther King, I don't think that's... I think we would... I'm rambling. The reason we know the FBI tried to kill Martin Luther King is because they admitted they tried to kill Martin Luther King, and I don't really think it makes much sense, the idea that they admitted that they tried to kill him, but they wouldn't admit that they did kill him. Because, if they could cover up that they did kill him, they would cover up the first time they tried to kill him, And the other thing is, there's no other evidence other than, well, they wanted to kill him, thus they did. Lots of people want to kill Martin Luther King. 3/4 of the country wanted that man dead because the U.S. has a really bad racism problem. And I think Martin Luther King being killed by just a random racist is very much a thing that could have happened, is my opinion. Anyway, you are not immune to conspiratorial thinking. Also, Luigi Mangione did nothing wrong.